are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Ameyzin Taste. Today we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day. I normally don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Given that we're in a pandemic, we don't know what is happening. Some restaurants are closed, some are opening. I was thinking it would be nice to share with you how to make some desserts. So you can make desserts for yourself, for your friends, for your loved one. And yes, I pull up the red because it's Valentine's Day. So today we are going to be making New York style cheesecake. So first thing is we are going to be making the crust. And guys, this is one of the best things. No, this is not sponsored. This is one of the best things that I have found. It is already like crumbed graham crackers, right? So I don't need to buy a whole pack of graham crackers, come put it in my food processor and do all that. No, I can just buy this. And it tells you exactly like the size of the pan that it can do the crust for. So this is for actually a 9-inch crust. I mean a 9-inch pie crust, and that is perfect because that's what I'm using. I'm gonna use a 9-inch, and I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna make a special heart one for my baby, and because that's his favorite dessert. So I'm gonna dump the whole open it right before in front of you guys. And guys, it's like seriously, this is perfect. I'm gonna dump it all in my bowl. If you have graham crackers at home, use about, I want to say 12 to 16. Now that my graham crackers are open, well, the crumbs are open, I'm just gonna dump all of it in my mixing bowl, right? And I'm gonna add a little bit because, as I mentioned, the pan that I'm using, this is a 9-inch, and I want to make a little bit in this one as well, so Bae can have his own individual cheesecake. So as you guys can see, my cream cheese and my butter are sitting out just because I want them to be at room temperature. I'm gonna melt the butter in a little bit, but I still want it to be at room temperature because I'm gonna use some to grease the bottom of my pan. Now that we have this, yep, we're gonna get into the butter. I have my bowl right here and I have my knife. So we need 6 tablespoons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. So I'm gonna cut it right here. And I'm just gonna dump this in here. There you go. And up in the microwave. So I set my microwave for 30 seconds. The butter was not completely melted, so I added about 10 more seconds to it. I am going to be using a springform pan, both for the 9-inch cake and the heart. I honestly don't know where my heart, oh, here it is, both of them. So basically what this is a pan that opens and releases. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it's not gonna go inside, it's just going around, and this is just to secure it even more, honestly. Okay, so now what I did is I put some butter, just a little bit, I would say like half a tablespoon of butter in my pan, and I'm gonna spread it with my brush. I don't know where my other brush is, but because the butter has been sitting at room temperature, it's very soft, so it's very, very easy, even with this brush, to just move it around. And I'm gonna make sure it gets on the edges just a little bit. I'm doing this because I do not want my crust to stick. Okay, so now that this is done, I'm going to set it aside, and I'm gonna do the same thing with my heart. Again, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna pop the bottom. I'm going to flip it. So make sure everything that you use is extra clean, because if it's not, then it's gonna be weird. Sorry, if it's not, then it's gonna be weird. This is clean. I have my brush, and I'm just gonna be applying, the butter. If you are using graham crackers, like you're actually gonna use the graham crackers, once you put them in the food processor, I highly recommend that you add 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar, just because graham crackers are not as sweet. Again, because I'm using like the crumbs already, there is sugar in it, so I'm not gonna be adding sugar. Also, if you're not a big fan of sugar, you don't have to add the sugar to the graham crackers. So we are going to add our melted butter to, it's cold now. We're gonna add it to the crackers, and I am doing this with my spatula. Again, this is another thing, you can put it all in the food processor. I actually don't have a food processor, so I'm just going to be adding it and mixing it with my spatula. Then I'll go in with my hands, but I definitely gonna make sure that there is butter everywhere. So I've added some, and as you can see with my spatula, I'm going in to mix. I'm going in, and I'm going to pour more in there and mix some more. And then at some point I'm gonna go in with my hands, to be honest, just because I see clumps, and I feel like those clumps like this are, things of butter that could be shared with the other ones. Again, hygiene is very important when you're cooking, so make sure your hands are clean at all time, especially because you're gonna be touching the food and you're gonna be feeding to other people. And so now I'm adding the remainder of my butter, using my spatula very well to scrape. I poured some on the counter. Oh, clumsy me. But anyways, doing this, and so now that our crust is, like our graham crackers are ready, I'm gonna put them in the pans. So I'm gonna dump it in the big one first. Wait, hold on, let me dump it the other way so you can see. Okay, there you go. Ooh. And I'm gonna dump some in the, oh, there you go. Okay. So, yeah, I'm making a mess. I'm gonna clean it up later. Now, what we are going to do, I'm gonna use this. You can use anything that you want, but this is basically my 1/3 cup. I'm gonna use the back of it to smoothen up the crust on, like, inside the pan, right? I would say this part is probably the most tedious part of the making of cheesecake, just because you want an even crust, right? You don't want one part to be thicker than the other one. So it's really making sure that, that's what I'm doing right now. I am making sure that my crust is evenly distributed from one corner to the other one. So I've set my oven to preheat at 350 degrees, and now that it's ready, I'm gonna put my pie crusts inside. I'm gonna bake them at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm putting them on this just because it's easier when I'm taking them in and out, in and out. I don't have to worry about one pot. I also don't have to worry about managing the sides. So I'm just gonna use this to this. I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah. So now that the crusts are in the oven and they're baking, I am going to show you guys how to do the cheese part, the cheese filling. And if you're using Philadelphia cheesecake, you're gonna need 7 packs or about like 3.5 pounds. Again, I chose these from ShopRite. And so yeah, one of it, so this is about a pound, and so I have 3 of these, sorry, and then 1 small one. Your cheesecake should have been at room temperature. This is the reason why we set it outside while we were doing the crust and everything, so it's extra soft. Okay, so now that it's, as you can see, nice and fluffy, I'm gonna add in the mix of sugar and flour that we just did. I'm gonna add it in slowly. I don't want like a cloud. Okay, and then I'm gonna continue adding it. Okay. So now we're gonna add in 1 cup of sour cream that has been sitting out at room temperature. Now that I've added the flour and sugar, the sour cream, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I love using vanilla extract. You know what? I'm gonna give it just a little bit more. Perfect. I can already smell it. Yes. And we're gonna take butter for another round. Okay, so now we're gonna add 5 large eggs, room temperature. I mean, do you see how beautiful this is? So because I want my cake to cook nice and slowly, I don't want it to poof up and like, you know, like come back down flat, cracked and everything. One of the other reasons why I'm using this is I'm gonna put water, right? So right now I have water boiling in my kettle and I'm gonna add it here and I'm gonna put it in my oven. It is best to use, if you have a roasting pan, fill it like, I would say about 3/4 of the way. But this is to prevent the water from getting inside the crust, right? And making it all soggy. So this is protection. Okay, so waiting for our water to be ready. I'm gonna pour the batter into the pans while my water finished boiling. And one of the things that I'm gonna do is, because this is not like very deep, I'm gonna put it in the oven and then I will drop the water. I'll show you. You know, I won't leave you hanging.